Hello, Steve Mills here. Welcome. Great to have you here. Thank you for your time. I really do appreciate it. I'm only going to take a little bit of your time today. We're going to go for about 15, maybe 20 minutes, see how quickly we get through things. But I do appreciate you've got loads of stuff to do and you're taking time out to spend time with me. So my pledge to you is to try and make sure that you get the best return on your investment in being here. Now, just to let you know what this is all about, I do this every day, Monday to Friday, 12:30 till about 12:45, and it's part of my commitment, which I've had now for 28 years, to try and help as many small businesses as I can to become more successful. Now, right now, I'm doing this over LinkedIn. I'm streaming live on LinkedIn. I'm streaming live on Facebook and also on YouTube. And the great thing about this is creating what I call marketing collateral for me. So this is live now, but it's also being recorded. So I'll be able to share this literally for years to come on all three of those platforms and, loads of other places as well. Be able to take it and add it to my website and produce blogs and so on and so forth. So, if you're not using this streaming technology now, perhaps that's the first in my list today. We're talking about the best strategies for business growth, and do you know what, this might be one of them, which sort of links into a couple of other things that I've got to say. But I'm going to do my best, give you a real good take on what I think, as I've said, based on 28 years of being in the industry of helping businesses, being in the marketing, sales, business growth, and I've learned my skills from learning from the best in the world. I've spent literally, I think it's over £150,000 and 20,000 hours learning what I now know, and I pass that on to my small business clients through a program called Results Mastery. But today we're going to look at what are the best strategies for business growth. Okay, so I suppose the number one thing, if you think about it, how you're going to grow your business, and arguably more importantly, how you're going to grow your profit in your business, there's only really two things you can do. One, you can reduce costs, and the other, you can increase sales. That is it. Yeah, you could buy another business and go and invest in something and so on, but ultimately that's increasing sales, isn't it? Why are you buying another business? So you got more sales in your business. So yeah, you could do that. But putting things really simply, which I do like to do, is I'm sure you could save some money somewhere in your business right now. You could save 5% here, 10% there. You might be able to save, I don't know, 10, 15, perhaps 20% of your costs. And, that would be number one for me, really. Go out there and see what you can save. What you don't want to be cutting back on, and you may be thinking, well, he would say that because he's in marketing, but you don't want to be cutting back on marketing. What you do want to be cutting back on is marketing that's not working, because, it's not working. So we need to make sure that we're not marketing the way like a Coca-Cola or a Nike does, where it's all about brand image and let's get our name out there. Yeah, that's great. But really what we want in small businesses is leads and sales. That's ultimately what we want. Now, my first sort of on my list, when I made a list, I've got it down here on a piece of paper of things I wanted to talk about. And when I thought to myself, right, what are the best strategies right now in terms of business growth? The first thing on my list was, and I've written down, learning to use adverts. Right now, I'm not talking about advertising in a magazine, obviously, although that may work for you. There's nothing wrong with that. But what I am talking about is pay-per-click advertising, not paperclip advertising. As I was recently asked, what is paperclip advertising? I said, well, there's no such thing. It's pay-per-click advertising. And, I'm sure you've heard of it. I'm sure you probably tried it and it's probably not worked for you, because the key word there is learning to use advertising. And the great thing about it is, I mean, if I just give you like a 2-minute overview, you've got places like search engines, Google and Bing and so on and so forth, where you can type in a load of keywords. So when somebody searches for something, your advert appears. So when somebody searches for business growth advice, my advert appears. And so they're asking Google, who's the best website, or where's the best website for business growth advice? And because I'm paying Google, it immediately pops me up there. So, that's a really good way of doing it. The other way, which is more involved in social media, I'd say, is where instead of them looking for you, like you search on Google, it's you looking for them. So if you're looking at advertising on places like LinkedIn and Facebook and stuff like that, then you're looking for them. So you say on all the social media sites, pretty much, right, I want to advertise to people who are like this. And you can target people based on the location, their age, their sex, their job title, the industry they work in, the company that they work for, the skill set that they've got, and so on and so forth. So you can really be very specific about who sees your advert. So you could literally say, right, I want to advertise to people who have who are on the Isle of Wight, have the job title of managing director, and they work for a company called Crofton Limited. And I'd be the only person in the world that would get to see your ad. It could be that targeted. That's actually not quite true, because you need to target a minimum of 1,000 people. But I just use that as an example of how focused you can be in terms of your advertising. So that's definitely an opportunity. The other opportunity, I'd say, the big one probably that I've missed out, is Facebook ads. Sorry, said that wrong. Is YouTube ads. Okay, YouTube, in other words, video-based advertising. I'm sure you've experienced this, where you've gone to listen to a particular person, and then right before that video appears, there's an advert. Yeah, and that's what we're talking about. So you can go and say, right, when somebody searches for this advert, then they're going to see you. So if somebody's, say, for example, in my world, Tony Robbins is probably the world's leading business advisor. He charges $2 million a year, in case you're interested. So he's the world's leading business advisor. I can say to YouTube, when anybody searches for Tony Robbins for this type of video that Tony's producing, I want to stick my video on the front of that. And the great thing about it is that if they, the little button where you click off, it says, something like, you can unsubscribe from this advert in 5 seconds. If you do that, it don't cost me anything. So I get to speak to you only for 5 seconds for free. In fact, I've got 30 seconds worth of that. So after 30 seconds, then YouTube charged me a small amount of money. So, I think that's pretty cool, don't you? So that's one, spending the time. I would just say it's very easy to waste money on this as well. It's not just like, oh, well, any idiot can set it up. Any idiot sets it up and it probably end up flushing a load of cash down the loo. So, for heaven's sake, make sure that you get training, you know how to do this, and don't just go and spend a load of money on something that probably won't work. Because that's the truth of all marketing, by the way. All marketing works some of the time, but it don't work all of the time. And that's because often it's done by people who don't really understand sales and marketing. They're just giving it a go, and therefore it doesn't work. So that's one. Number two, learn LinkedIn. I see so many people who are on LinkedIn and they tell me things like, well, I'm on LinkedIn, but I don't really do very much. Or they sometimes say, I'm on LinkedIn, but I don't really understand how to use it. And I'm here to tell you today, there is no excuse. There's no excuse for that being the case. Why is that? Because you can't be bothered. That's why. All right, yeah, I know you're busy, but so am I, and so is everybody, and so are people who make an absolute fortune. I mean, we win over 100 grand. I just had somebody ask me, how much money do you win on social media? So I thought I'd tell them. They asked me a question. I win over £100,000 a year from LinkedIn alone. Now, wouldn't it be worth spending a little bit of money and a little bit of time in order to get 100 grand in your bank? For most businesses, it would. And if you employ 10 salespeople, that could be 100 grand each, which is £1 million, unless I'm mistaken. This stuff really works, but again, you need to know how to use it. There is no excuse at all, I don't think, for not understanding things in terms of digital online marketing. Now, if you're one of those people who are sitting there thinking, well, I don't like technology, I don't, get over it. Just get over it. Just start to learn. I mean, you got two choices. You could learn or you could outsource, get somebody else to do it for you. By the way, including us, we can do it for you if you want to. But, fundamentally, you at least need a level of knowledge to know what good looks like. Let me give you an example. If you said, right, we're going to outsource search engine optimization, what happens if you employ somebody who's not actually very good? Because you don't know. You've no idea whether they're doing a good job for you or not until and unless they start to get results, which can take 3 or 4 months, which can mean a whole load of money's been, again, thrown down the loo because you've hired somebody who's not very good at what they do. So, learn LinkedIn. Learn LinkedIn is a really, really powerful thing to do. And we need to do that. Next one, train yourself in what I call lead conversion, aka sales. Did you know that it's something, and I'm making this up because I don't know the actual number, but I would estimate, having spoken at events and things all over the world, that 95 to 98% of salespeople have never read a sales book. Not only that they've never done any sales training, and they certainly don't train themselves on a daily basis in sales like I do. Why is that? Why would you employ somebody who just believes that they're good, but they're not that good? And they've never bothered to train themselves. Give me a break. That's just not doesn't make any business sense whatsoever. If you're running a sales team, or if you personally are responsible for selling, you owe it to yourself, you owe it to your business to become better and better and better at converting leads into sales, because that's what sales is. Marketing creates the lead, and then sales converts that lead into a sale. Unless you've got like an e-commerce site where marketing can create the lead and it can create the sale. But if you've got what I'd call a conventional business, then investing time, money, and effort in selling is one way, one of the best strategies, I think, around to grow your business. So you should definitely be doing that. Lastly, is to focus on results. I think, if you looked at everything that you're doing right now, and let's just assume that you go to networking events, you do a couple of exhibitions a year, you've got an email list that you market to once a month, you're on LinkedIn, but you don't do very much. you're on Facebook, but you think Facebook's not really for business, and you don't really use it properly. You're not investing in the advertising, for example. You've got a few videos on YouTube, but you're not really doing it properly. You don't get SEO at all, and you've not done anything really to drag traffic to your website and then make sure that your website converts that traffic into leads. And you've not really done that much, although when you did do some YouTube advertising or some Google advertising, it didn't really work for you. If you're in that mindset or that situation, then looking and focusing on improving your results is where I'd start if I was working with you right now. If you were on my results mastery program and day one we had what we call a kickoff meeting, I'd be talking to you about, right, what are you doing right now in terms of your marketing? And let's just say, for simplicity, you said, well, we're on LinkedIn, but we don't do very much. Not really done that much with the website, although it's quite a nice website. And we've got an email list that we mail out to once a month. And that's all we're doing, Steve, to be honest, apart from winning business from referral, from personal recommendation. So I'd say, right, let's include that. And we've now got 4 things to focus on. Now we're going to focus on improving the results that we've already got before we go and, invest a load of time, money and effort in something like Google Ads, which, won't work necessarily overnight. We can work on improving each and every element of that. So where's that start? Well, for me, it would always start with the headline. The headline is the advert for the advert. So the headline is the advert for the email. It's the advert for the website or the web page. It's the advert for the social media post, and so on and so forth. So I'd be looking at, right, let's try and improve your headlines. Let's try and improve the words. Let's try and improve the layout of this email or this website. Let's try and improve what we say when we go to a networking event, which is the headline and the words that we use, and so on and so forth. So often I found that by changing things like that, we can create significant results. Probably the best example I can give of that was a company I did some work with who were selling a big piece. You may have noticed them on the intro bit. They were selling this big machine that did recycling. The bottles went to the left, the cans went to the right, and the paper went somewhere else. It automated it. It separated it all out. And this machine cost £2.5 million per machine, but it saved local authorities around about 20 to 30% of recycling costs. And they'd been advertising in this magazine for 6 months at £2,000 a month, advertising on the back of this glossy mag that went out to local authorities. So they'd spent £12,000 so far, 0 leads. I changed the headline from the company name, which was Nicholas Jovisa. They said they wanted to create brand awareness. And we changed it to local authorities save 20 to 30% on recycling costs. That month, they got 5 leads, turned 2 of them into sales of £5 million. Now, that's the power of headline changing. And that's just one element of what I do. That's just one small bit of how, by changing things, testing and measuring, you can improve your performance. You can turn what are basically bad strategies or strategies that are just about working and make them the best strategies for business growth. So I hope that's given you something to think about. I'd love to have a meeting with you if you'd like to. I'm very open for it. I'm not going to give you a hard sell, as you probably gather. But what I will do is try and help you with your business, get an understanding of it and your marketing, and maybe give you some ideas and ways in which you can improve what you're already doing. You probably gather, if you're reading that at all, you can see I'm open to doing that. All you need to do if you want to book is to go to steve-mills.com. You'll see a big gold button on the home page. Click that. That'll give you access to my online diary, and you can just book a meeting with me then and there at a time that suits you. So all nice and easy, and I look forward to speaking soon. Thanks very much for listening.